Have you heard the story of that woman that woke up in bed with her snake next to her, sizing her up to eat her? Yes, but please don't tell me you actually believe that. You better be careful because you have a ton of snakes. I'll keep that in mind, thanks. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Zoe, but most people know me as 𝘎𝙪𝙨, and this is Voodoo, my calabar burrowing python. And today we're going to talk about 5 reptile myths or misconceptions you've probably heard at some point, and we're going to dissect them a little bit. Starting off strong, the thought that your snakes are sizing you up to eat you. If you're a reptile keeper, I'm sure this has been brought up to you by somebody. If you're not a reptile keeper, I'm sure you've probably heard this before, whether it was in a magazine or news article, you saw it on Facebook, somebody else brought it up to you. I'm here to tell you that it is simply not true. Voodoo is not stretching out right now to determine whether or not she could eat me. A snake laying down next to you is not calculating whether or not you will fit in their stomach. Listen, snakes have a pretty good concept of what they can and cannot eat. Voodoo here knows that there is no way she could eat me. It's just not possible. That story that's been going around for ages, for years, about the woman that woke up with a snake next to her, sizing her up to eat her. Was that snake stretched out next to her? Probably. But do you know what it was doing? It would have been stealing her body heat. Snakes are ectotherms, meaning they're cold-blooded. We are not. We produce our own body heat. So if a snake is getting close to you, it's stretching out next to you, it's trying to put as much of their surface area as it can next to you, they're probably trying to steal your heat. You're nice and toasty, and they want to be nice and toasty. So no, she was not being sized up to be eaten. The next myth that has been going around for ages is that toads can give you warts. Now, it's thought that this was brought about because obviously toads look a little warty, depending on the toad, of course, and warts are fairly contagious. So would it be fair to think that this warty animal could give you warts? I could see how that could get started, but the good news is that that just does not happen. Warts are a human virus that can pass from human to human, but they're not passing from animal to human. However, some frogs and toads can secrete toxins out of their skin, so you should still handle with care and wash your hands after handling. It's not going to give you warts, but you don't want those toxins secreted on your skin and then you touch your face or eat food and ingest it. You don't want to do that, so wash your hands. But you're not going to get warts. The next misconception is one of my favorites to talk about, and that's that snapping turtles are going to attack you. Everyone thinks that because snapping turtles are big and they've got this powerful snap and that they're going to snap instead of just tucking in their shell and hiding like other turtles, that they are mean and vicious and that they're going to attack you. Now, the reason they do this, they can't tuck inside their shell like other turtles can. Their plastron, or the bottom of their shell, is reduced in size compared to other turtles. So there's less of it. There's not all of this shell to be able to tuck into, and they're big turtles. Now this allows them to expose more of their body, more of their legs, be able to walk around on land better, but does mean they need a different way to protect themselves, hence the snap. Which means if they are feeling scared or threatened, they are going to snap. They're not going to do it just because they are mean. They're doing it because they're scared. I love snapping turtles. They are my favorite turtle species. The next myth or misconception is that reptiles will only grow to the size of the enclosure you put them in. Now, we used to hear this a lot more commonly than I feel like we do now. I feel like I used to hear this a lot more years ago than I do now, which is great, because it was an excuse to keep animals in inappropriate sized enclosures. You know, and you hear that a lot with goldfish. I feel like goldfish got it the worst, but I've heard it with reptiles too, where it's like, well, I don't want it to get that big, so I'm going to keep it in this size enclosure so it only will get that big. No, it's just going to develop a lot of health issues. So always make sure you are providing appropriate housing for your reptiles so they can be nice and healthy. And the last myth and misconception I want to mention is something that gets brought up all of the time in my education programs. I get asked about it all the time, mainly by children, and that's that chameleons can change color. And we have the media to blame for this. Movies, TV shows, children's books always portray chameleons changing color to camouflage with their environment. Now, chameleons are master camouflagers, don't get me wrong, but they're not completely changing their color, like to a whole new color, in order to blend in and camouflage. Now, they will change color in the sense that they will get lighter and darker, and they will do this for different reasons, whether it be communication, their temperature. Sometimes you will see a chameleon get darker in order to help absorb more heat. And you see this in a lot of reptiles, not just chameleons. It could be their mood, whether they're angry or stressed, or if they're happy and content. So usually at nighttime, that's when chameleons look their prettiest. I always used to call it their pajamas. You know, when they go to bed, they wear their pajamas. Typically super light, very pretty, very colorful, and that's because they're very relaxed because they're asleep. So a green chameleon isn't going to all of a sudden turn purple, but they will change from lighter to darker, depending on their mood and the other factors that I had mentioned. Can you think of other myths or misconceptions that we didn't talk about? Leave them in the comments below because it's just a fun topic to talk about. And as always, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you for the next video. Bye!